Hi, Kelly. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Jess. How are you?
I am surviving Maycember. This has been crazy.
Yeah, I know. Having a high school graduate can also be is busy as it's as alone, let alone, everything you've got going on with the two
Well, that's
kids.
not even any of it. I think it's just having three kids. It's very, very exciting. Dominic's baseball team won state, and it was
Yeah,
the
that's
first
great. I bet
time.
that was really
Yeah,
fun for him to be on that team.
yeah.
Cool.
It's the first time in school history they won state for baseball. And
Wow.
the school is, fairly academic. And so when you go into the gym, they've won like I think they won academic state or they're academic state champions or something. So when you go in the gym and you see state champions baseball, I just thought they'd been state champions before, at some point in history. This school has been around since the 60s. I did not realize that those banners were academic champions. And so it's a really big deal.
Yeah,
And so
I'm
how that
sure.
impacts me is right, like when everyone else's season is over in April, we're still playing and we're still playing, still having practices, still playing. Then, which is amazing, like their principal is really amazing. They threw together a parade for the students and invited the parents, and they had a parade and they had the boys walk around in their jerseys with trophies, and like the whole school came out, and it was cool. Dad got to go. It was very last minute. Obviously, we just won. You can't plan for it. They won on a Saturday, and on Tuesday they did a parade, and so Dad and I came, and Dad hadn't been on campus before, so that was cool, and it was exciting. But I know a lot of parents have to grapple with that when there's something last minute for school. You want to try to go. Very fortunate and lucky my schedule's flexible, but I've had to like this week because Giovanni had award ceremonies. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are half day for Dominic. Thursday's half day for Gio. This week was already a shit show, so I had my schedule like blocked out and then booked, working till 5 every day this week. And so then having to make another change in my schedule when there's just nowhere to change it's just a lot. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
it's definitely hard in your field of work too, in that a lot of people really rely on you, and probably to have to reschedule and move stuff around isn't always easy
Well,
too. So
and on Monday, so Giovanni, my 11-year-old, hates school. He's never liked school. He's never been in a school. He doesn't care about school. And he's also very smart. Like, if he knows you're not doing anything that day in school, he's like, what's the point of going? Right? So, like, if there's no testing, there's nothing happening, he knows there's not going to be learning, he's out. So they had to hand in their Chromebooks on Monday. So he knows if we're handing in our Chromebooks, like they do everything digitally, right? So if we hand in our Chromebooks on Monday, what are we doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Like we're not doing anything. So I got a call from the school that his stomach hurts Monday morning. And I'm like, does your stomach hurt? Is it really? I don't care. Someone go get him, right? I'm going to work. Gabby, go get Gio. While she goes and gets him, he throws up all over the nurse's office. Gabby gets him. He comes home. He pukes. Like, he basically constantly pukes from 11:30 a.m. until 7 p.m.
is he making
nonstop.
it into a bucket when he gets home?
Yeah, no, thank
Okay,
goodness,
that's
because
good.
it was last year or the year before where he just projectile vomited all over, like, bookshelves, all over, like,
Yuck.
where it's like now he's making it. And that was so traumatic that because I was like, you have to get up. Like, this is crazy. You can't throw up on everything. But anyway, so then I put an air mattress in our room and have him sleep in our room. And, every 30 minutes, every hour, it's mom, because ice chips. He was keeping out ice. I need ice. I need ice. I'm like, I'm not getting you ice. Like, you can have a sip of water. And 30 minutes later, mom, I need ice. I'm not going to give you ice, bud. And then he has this freak out because you know how I go out clubbing in the middle of the night and sneak out. So then he'd be like, mom, and like reach over and like grab that I'm there every hour.
That's
So
awful.
it's like, just like not sleeping. So
Yeah, that's awful.
I just want this week to be over. That's all. So he has his promotion today. 5th grade is a thing.
Yeah, I know your kids are always so active. There's always kind of awards and all kinds of end of the year stuff.
Yeah.
My kids don't have any of that.
Yeah,
And
we're winding
so
that down.
it's just the school ends and it ends and that's it. So it doesn't feel as busy for me as it sounded for you.
They don't do like a 8th grade promotion. They do. They did an 8th grade promotion. But
Sure,
you
that's
guys are
8th grade
K through.
graduation. Yeah.
So we do. Our school does 5th grade, 8th grade, and 12th grade promotion.
Well, plus you have all of your awards assemblies. See, they don't give out awards much.
Yeah.
In Chicago, I guess.
But we had awards. We had awards. We didn't have ceremonies, but you got principal
We don't even
list,
have,
honor
neither
roll.
of my kids' schools have honor roll or anything like that.
They don't have honor roll? We
No,
had
there's
that.
nothing.
At our school of 5 people, we had that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just falling out of, I don't know why, but they don't do any of that. So there's no
they didn't,
assemblies or anything.
like Dom's school, which is what high schools do here. I don't know if they do that there. But if you're in an activity, there's like Dominic's school does so there's fall, winter, and spring sports. So they do a spring banquet for all athletes.
No, they don't do any
You
of
don't
that.
do banquets?
No.
Oh, that's like all the high schools here do sports banquets. Usually they're sports specific.
Actually, maybe they do have a baseball something or other. I don't know. It's been an awful season for Wes for baseball. So probably not even something he's going to want to attend at this point.
Yeah.
So we're busy just kind of winding down. Beck's going to wind down his spring baseball or soccer, and Wes will wind down his high school baseball. We'll get some reprieve from that. So, yeah.
Beckett and you traveled to Utah for soccer.
Yeah, we were in Utah for a weekend. It was really nice to be able to go take a trip with Beck. I remember when Wes turned 12, I took a trip to Cooperstown. We took a trip to Cooperstown for the kids. So I know that there are people who do like trips or dinners with each individual kid. And, it just hasn't been like something we've intentionally done in our family. But it's really been lovely hanging out with him. And it is fun being with, spending time with a single kid. I mean, Wes and I are going to be traveling out there for Gabby's graduation in a couple weeks. So that'll be fun. Just because, my kids are constantly on their devices. And so I don't get a lot of time sometimes with them outside of that and their sports. And so sometimes it's just fun to be and watch a show and just chill in the hotel room. So we had a really great time, had a ton of fun with friends. It was exhausting. I'm still recovering. I'm really tired from the whole weekend, but no, it was great.
And that was only a 1 hour time change, right? You went from Central to Mountain.
Yeah.
Okay. So
the time change wasn't a big deal at all.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of busyness. But we only had, it felt unnecessary. I talked to a lot of people. I just feel like some of these, I'm tired of the money. Honestly, I'm tired of the money grabs. I'm tired of spending all this money. I'm grateful because living in Chicago, our kids can be in a very competitive environment without having to travel much. And so in hindsight, I didn't feel the trip to Utah was fun. I think we learned that we are just as competitive as he's just as competitive as any team at that entire tournament. So I thought that was kind of a great lesson learned, but I don't think we need to spend, $1,500 for a weekend or more, basically, right?
I feel the same way about baseball because baseball is so big here and people travel from all over the country, if not the world. Like we had a lot of Canadian, a lot of Hawaiian, Colorado, Nebraska, Texas teams that I'm like, we don't need to travel. So when they were trying to travel for Giovanni's 11U team, I'm like, that's dumb. Now, when you're 18U, like Dominic is, and you're doing scout ball and you're going to these these are big, big tournaments where colleges and scouts are, it's like, okay, that makes sense to me. You're 18U. That makes sense. But when you're little, I totally agree. Now for softball, and it's gotten bigger here, but for softball, if you were going to do a tournament here, for a while, it would be like 5 teams, 4 teams, so you're like, okay, but we're not traveling crazy, right? We're traveling in our area, like Utah, California, like it's, no more than like 3 hour, like a driving travel. And I do like once a year, or no, I guess once in a lifetime, like the Cooperstown, right? I want Giovanni to do Cooper Sound because I thought that was so fun. Like a one-time thing is fine with me. But I agree. I know we had talked about that. You and I should read these sports books that are coming out. But when they talk about Disney doing Wide World of Sports or some, like when Disney did that, it's about beds and heads, and it's like a money grab. And I thought this was a joke. You got, girl, I know we talked about this before about our give an F with some of these sports and mom groups and stuff. And so for Giovanni, they have the 11U parent chat and 11U mom chat. I have them on mute. I will be between sessions to check my phone. 36 missed messages from these group chats. So I'm like, I can't even. And so this mom, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I have to be the crunchiest, oldest asshole mom. I wonder what they think of me. And so this mom posts a screenshot, and I'm friends with her, and she posts this screen. Kelly, this is how long it's taken me to scroll to find this screenshot. Still scrolling. She posted, and it said, it was like PG, perfect game, for you. Shout out to our mighty 4U team for their impressive victory in Texas. Sin City, right? So they traveled to Texas from Vegas, and they're 4 years old. And so I thought that this post was a joke. And I said,
right, yeah.
And they posted it. That's all they did was post it. And I said, is this a joke? And then she was like, well, I was going to sign up my youngest. And I was like, for you? I put 4, like, you know, the number 4, you, 4 and under, with like 25 exclamation points. I put like 25 exclamation points because I've been joking because the head of our organization, Daniel, has a baby, right? River's 8 weeks old, and I've been joking, sign up for 1U in the fall, guys. Like, we're getting a team together for River, like, super joking. And so she was like, yeah. And this other mom was like, she goes, I saw that, and I was like, baby, let me learn real quick how to coach because that's where the money is. And she was like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, this is nuts. Like, obviously that's for money. And then she said, I think it is AI. So I don't know if this is a joke or what is happening. I didn't follow up, but I was like, what is happening?
I think the other thing is, I think this goes back to even some of our previous episodes about what your values are, because I do, like, we've gone I remember going through with Chat GPT, talking to Chat about like Beckett's club, and we were looking at other clubs because his club rates went up. It's very expensive, and I don't think it's necessary. Talking about the money grab and all this stuff. And it was like, yeah, and the USA Cup soccer tournament is a giant money grab. And we went to USA Cup 2 years in a row. And I would say that I think going back to the values, a lot of people tend to enjoy watching their kids play sports. And sometimes they can combine a family vacation with a kid activity in a way that they can make it really worthwhile. USA Cup was a ton of fun because we did a lot of other activities outside. There were a lot of coordinated activities. We always went to an MLS game. There was a water park. There was other stuff, right? So it's a week-long vacation with a lot of activities. And so maybe part of this, even though it is considered, I sometimes think it's a money grab, even the Utah thing, the other flip side of it is kind of a way to have a vacation in a way that you're not constantly entertaining your kids. Your kids are like competing and stuff. They're spending time with the people they like. Like, I love spending time with Beckett's soccer team. Like, I love many of the families there. And I was the one who did all the events planning for Utah. I think that's also why I'm exhausted. But I knew that I knew that somebody needed to step up to coordinate that. And otherwise, my kid's just going to sit on his iPad in the room. The hotel pool is fun, but as you know, those hotel pools are not huge. There's only so much fun to be had. And the next thing you know, they're like tearing up the lobby of the hotel or something. So I think that there's something nice about that part of it, but it does get expensive. With USA Cup, we would drive, so that make it easier. Utah's another animal.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially if it's driving, like, I feel like club ball has made so we can't go on a vacation because we are at club ball. So, like, there's no money or time. You guys play
sports year round.
And so we treat it like we love looking up restaurants, things to do. Like, when we go to these different places, like, we spent a lot of time in Arizona last year. We rented a house. Well, I don't know. One of the time we rented this house, and Gabby came with her boyfriend, and we looked up things to do. We went to like that Andretti sports place one night, and we were thrifting, and there was like amazing shopping. Especially like when you're at a showcase level, like you'll know, like with baseball, I don't know, these big tournaments in baseball last year, you're playing 1 or 2 games a day for like 5 or 6 days, right? So you look up things to do. The team organizes to be together. Now, Dominic, again, will be the youngest on his team, so it's a little bit different for Dominic. He does love the guys, but some of the guys make different choices and have different lifestyles than him. Like, he's not there to, like, find girlfriends or whatever. And then for Gabby, those are her good friends. We're renting a house in St. George with a family that we're close to, and all the kids get along. So all of that can be really fun. And so I think it's like one of the reasons, because I do believe in rec sports and I do love lesser, like, whatever different sports. But like my point for taking Giovanni out of rec ball is because rec ball is spring and fall. And every season, depending on how it shakes out, he has to start all over again. There's a new coach, new players. Now, all of these teams that are club ball teams are coming in to play rec ball. So for 2 seasons in a row, Gio came in and there were already 8 players that play together, right? And then the coach has to get to know you and you start all over again. And Dominic just had a different rec ball experience. He was very lucky that a dad kept this team together and they played for like 5 seasons. And Giovanni had that for 2 seasons, and I don't know what happened. Like, I think Gio moved up and was older than the guy's son. And so it's like, well, I don't like having to start over every time. Gio is more anxious, right? Then you have to get to know a new coach, get to know everything. So I was like, well, I just want to like lay low, have the same team, just have him have practice all the time. I don't care if he has tournaments. I just want him to like stay active and be with friends. And so that's kind of why I moved to club ball for him. We traveled one time to Bullhead City, which is like an hour away. It's not that big of a deal. But I threw a big fit and I was like, I'm not doing that again, especially if you play like Vegas teams. Like, so if you travel somewhere, you play Vegas teams, I was like, that's not necessary. I dug my heels in and I was like, I will not travel with 11U again. And we told them we will not travel because it's not necessary. But anyway, I think it is, having to be careful and think about it. And it's like, for us, our kids have to pick a physical activity. And, whatever it is,
Yeah, I
it
think,
is,
it's a challenge because rec ball is not as competitive. And then travel ball is, but it's a huge commitment. And it's
Yeah.
like not a lot of in between. And then both of the kids, once you get into like junior high and high school, it ends up that like you're too late to add a second sport because you have to commit so much to your primary sport. I see that now. I'm really going to try to get back into some other
Yeah.
activities. I
They
think
say they like you
with
for injury
Wes,
prevention to play 2 sports,
yeah, I think we're definitely finding with Wes that he's done with baseball. Like he's very burnt out and he doesn't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
And so now he's going to be 16 and doesn't have another sport. So spending some time to figure out what that could be for him is part of his own journey. But it just is weird, right? Because it's not like he can pick up lacrosse. All the kids who play lacrosse have been playing club. But if he really wanted to do something, I know he could be
Well, he was
fine.
doing golf a little bit.
But that's impossible. It's impossible to get on that team. But no, he loves playing golf and he will continue. It's a lifelong sport.
Bowling, I guess. So the baseball players, bowling is a winter sport, and so all the baseball players bowl. And so I had asked, I was like, Dom, do you want to join bowling next year? Because it's all the baseball team, and it's a huge program just because like 8 baseball players were like, let's do bowling or something.
Yeah,
And
well, and it's
so something
probably
like
how the
that.
team won state. One of the things the varsity coach at DePaul says is a team that loves each other wins games. And so that's really
Totally.
great if they are
Yeah.
already doing other activities. That's
Yeah.
makes them such a powerhouse. That's really awesome.
Yes. To continue, this is what I wanted to talk about. I think I talked about it in another thing. But anyway, around here, they dye their hair. If you're in postseason, people dye their hair blonde for baseball. So you'll know who plays baseball or a spring sport because they dye their hair. Their hair's
Yeah, I think
horrible
other
looking in the
athletics
summer.
do that probably too.
And
Yeah.
so they were like, invited Dom, and then, Dom decided to do it. There were 3 freshmen on the varsity team. Now, there were some, I don't know if other freshmen taxied. And you know how, like, this is your varsity team, but then in postseason, you'll pull more people from JV that, like, taxied. But I still think it was still only the 3 freshmen. But anyway, so Dom was invited to go, and we're like, you should dye your hair. You should go do it. And I told you have cosmetology. So the girl was like, oh, I can finish your processing tomorrow on Sunday. Well, all these people were like, oh, I want you to finish processing our hair on Sunday. And then they all came to the house Sunday. Then his good friend Ace, who goes to high school with him, but they've been playing club ball together for like 3 years. We've given Ace rides to Arizona a million times. Ace is like, oh my God, Dominic, I can't believe you never invited me to your house. Your house is so much fun. We're having all of the parties here at your house. And the next game we win, we're all coming to your house. So then they play and they all are like, we're going to the Clarko's house. So he asked if they could all come to our house. I'm like, whatever, come to the house. We took Gio. We were out. Gio had a game. Mom was like, aren't you nervous that you're having all these high schoolers at your house? I'm like, Mom, 9 of them are 18. And she was like, well, your Uncle Denny was 18 and he was an idiot. And she was like, 18-year-olds make dumb choices. And I'm like, yeah, but they're 18. Like, they're not minors. It's not my problem. And I think I told you, anyway, I told Dominic, we have like a 5-6 foot high cement block fence here in the Southwest, right? And I said, Dominic, our neighbor had teenagers, and I remember the guys running on that fence and jumping in the pool. And I was like, that you cannot jump in the pool. And so, sure enough, some kid climbs on the fence, and they all were like, on the wall, whatever, it's a wall, and they were like retaining wall, whatever. They were like, jump it, jump it. And Dominic was like, get down. And he was like, my parents explicitly said no one could do this. And the guy was like, I'll make it in the pool. And it's like 8 feet away. And he was like, you better get down now if I get in trouble because you get hurt, blah, blah, blah. So Dom was able to get him down. We come home, very mild party. Like, they're chilling. So when they win state, they're like, everyone's going to the Clarko's house. Well, we paid a lot of money for pizza the Saturday before, and everyone chipped in. They didn't even chip in for like a third of the pizza. So this time I'm like, listen, MFers, in my mind, I'm not spending hundreds of dollars. No one's chipping in. So I'm like, we're doing this super cheap. We go to Sam's, we get frozen hamburgers and hot dogs, and I'm like, we're just doing hamburgers and hot dogs. And then all the kids, they did bring a ton of soda, I guess, the last time, but they drank it. Kelly, there were like, let's say 21 boys and 8 or 9 cases of sodas, and they drank all of it. Like, they're just drinking sodas. And I cheaped out, and I bought 2 liters of, Smoot beer and Coca-Cola. It's called cola.
Yeah, some cola.
Lemon lime soda. I'm like, I don't care. And then they were just like, they play hacky sack, they were swimming, and then they were playing hide and go seek. And like, they're just such a good group of kids. It was fun. And also, I wonder if we committed to hosting parties for the next 4 years.
It's so awesome when you see your kid truly happy, having a good time, and kind of being able to be themselves. Yeah. It just warms your heart as a parent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun, and we are going to be focusing so much more on just fun and relaxation this June. So stay tuned for all of our June episodes coming up.